Hey, what is up YouTube? This is Geet and welcome to my channel. So today we are going to discuss about which one is my favorite programming language and I'll tell you why it matters. Well, I am an embedded system engineer from like past 7 years and I have a very good experience in designing and developing embedded systems, and I have worked with some of the biggest companies in the world. So I am considering myself as a right candidate to share this knowledge with you about which is really good programming language and which programming language is worth learning if you are on your journey towards being an embedded systems engineer. This is Geet and welcome to the channel. So there are a lot of things which come into equation when it comes to an embedded systems, because they are a little bit different from the ordinary systems. They are less smarter, right? No, that is not the fact. Well, they are smart. We are the people who make anything smart. We are the engineers, are the people who make anything smart. And when it comes to a system like a laptop or a PC or a supercomputer compared to an embedded system, which are designed for performing a very specific task, the biggest difference is the availability of resources. If you have more resources, you can do more work. If you have more resources, you can do better work as compared to having less number of things with you. But in order to have more resources, you have to have more power, more storage, more of everything, right? And sometimes we don't want that. All we want is a small device which runs on a small battery for a very long period of time, and it doesn't get bad, it doesn't get worn out, and it keeps on working. And we have something like a phone or a laptop to monitor it. That's all we want. Then why to use such expensive things, such expensive resources on a tiny device like that? That's a big question. And we have the answer. Let's consider yourself as a seller of these kind of devices, right? And you have customers incoming. Now, you have a device which can monitor temperature and make changes in your AC or your fan. It's a very simple device, right? So you have one product which is made of some Windows setup and it costs around like 10,000 rupees. You have another setup which has a simple ARM controller which does all these things, runs on very low power and costs you around like 500 rupees. What do you think the customer will buy? If he is too much rich, which mostly not the case, then he is going to buy the ARM controller based product, right, which is costing around 1000 rupees. So the devices which run on these cheap and low power controllers are less expensive compared to the ones which have those giant CPUs which can do almost anything in this world. Anything. So now you understood what is the requirement of embedded systems and where do they stand. As we need less resources, we'll have to compromise on languages as well, right? Like an embedded system may or may not work on a JVM, on a virtual machine, on top of which you run a Java application. So sometimes that is not a feasible solution. So what is a good candidate for a programming language which can be used for these embedded systems? Well, it depends. I'll also tell you which one I like and which one I have been using from past few years. So stay tuned. So nowadays there is a very popular language which is becoming more and more popular for almost any field in technology. And you might have guessed it right, Python. Python has so many use cases and it has so many libraries which can be used for solving almost any problem in the world. You name it, Python has some or the other thing which can solve that problem. So what about embedded systems? Well, they have their stripped down flavor of Python, that is MicroPython, which is used in controllers. Nowadays the controllers like ESP32, some of the STM controllers are using this Python, MicroPython library in order to write the firmware, write the application firmware of it. which is really good. So Python is a really good candidate for embedded systems, but there is a biggest drawback to it. It's very slow. Python language can be compiled, it can be interpreted, you can use it in any way, but it is really slow, and that is the reason why it's not a very good candidate for embedded systems. Although if you are in your learning phase and you want to learn about embedded systems rather than building something that is high performance, high efficiency, then I would suggest you start with Python programming language. So we want more speed, right? Who doesn't? So the next language is, and it's very less popular, but I feel that it has a really good opportunity to be famous, to be more popular, to be adapted by the engineers in future time, and that is Lua. Lua is a scripting language which is used in so many microcontrollers, and it's so much easy to script in Lua. It's a very lightweight and very less amount of code is required for like any any medium type of functionality. So it's better than those low level languages, but it's less functional than the languages like Python. So it sits somewhere in the middle. Still, you need some infrastructure to run Lua. There are some libraries which are required to be pre-installed in your compiler in order to load the functionality of the complete functionality of Lua. So these were the scripting languages. Now we are coming to the low level languages, which are the actual powerhouses of embedded systems. One of the most famous, and it has been used from like so many years. I don't know how many decades it's been used in the embedded systems. It's known as C language. C is a functional language and it's beautiful. It's a beautiful programming language, and it's been adapted for kernel development, for almost any embedded controller development. You name a controller and it will have a C library for its programming. C is that much vastly used. C is the highest used programming language in embedded systems, and you must learn C even if you are going to use it or not. That is a second thing. But what is the problem with C language? Well, as I said, it's a functional language. Programming in C language is a little tough. Whenever you want to make a huge model, a huge product which includes base code development like development at protocol layer, like you are making a USB device or something, towards the application development where you are making features, algorithms. C is not that much scalable. You can make almost any program in C language, but at some point in time it will be super hard to understand, super hard to maintain. The garbage collection, the memory problems, there are a lot of things which needs to be considered, and you will need a very good engineer who knows all these aspects if you want to go with a route of C language with your product development. So C is the most powerful and the fastest programming language that you can use in embedded systems, but it has so many drawbacks. So we want some programming language which can do the stuff that can be done by Python, like high level programming languages, at the speed of low level programming languages like C or assembly. What is that? Well, my favorite programming language, C++. It has all the things that you need for developing an embedded system. It works very close to the low level languages like assembly, and it can give you all the functionalities that a high level programming language like Python can give, like polymorphism, abstraction, classes, inheritance, you name it, C++ has it. And cherry on top is it is really fast. It's almost as fast as C language. The support for C++ language is ubiquitous and it's there in every controller. You pick a controller, it will have a C++ support. Like all the ARM controllers from all the manufacturers has C++ support built in, C++ libraries supported. So it's really flexible and you can do almost anything which C programming language can do in a better way, in a more efficient way. And that is the reason why I love this language. And I've been programming in C++ from like so many years. I've been developing firmware for so many ARM based controllers from so many years, and C++ has never failed me. Also, I don't see that this language will deprecate in near future. It's going to be so many years for it to be completely out of fashion. So you should learn C++, but before that you should start with C language and build your way up to learn C++. Once you start C++, once you grab the knowledge about C++, there is no going back. It will be so much helpful to you in making solutions of the problems in a very simple and scalable way. So I guess this is all about this video. It was a little bit more technical. So I hope all the technical audience liked it. Like it if you like my video, put your comments, give me your suggestions on how can I improve my video. In this series of video, I try to keep my editing as less as possible and try to give you more natural and more uncut content to you as much as possible. So I'll appreciate your comments and your suggestions in the comment box. With that, it's time to wrap up this video and I'll see you the next time. Till then, stay safe, keep programming.